Once upon a time, in a small village, by the peaceful river, there was an old man named James. He had lived his entire life there, witnessing many ups and downs of life. Formerly a farmer, he spent countless days toiling in the fields, but he also nurtured his soul with stories and life philosophies that he often shared with the village children. Each evening when the sunset painted the sky with a brilliant orange hue, Mr. James would sit under the large ancient tree. The children would gather around him, their eyes sparkling with curiosity. In the gentle light of the twilight, he began to tell them stories about life and the lessons he had learned. Always live for what you love, my dear children, Mr. James would start. Time is precious, and it passes very quickly. If we don't live for what we love, life will become empty. He often reminisced about our memory involving a sunflower field he once planted. Back then, I was a young man full of passion, he recalled. I spent the entire summer sowing seeds and tending to them every day. I loved each flower because they brought joy and color to life. But then, one night, a great storm ravaged the field. At that moment, I thought the fire in my heart had gone out. The children listened intently, feeling the pain of the loss Mr. James had endured. No one spoke, only the gentle sound of the river and the whisper of the leaves could be heard. But then, he continued, I realized that loss is a part of life. Just like the storms outside, life will never let you stay still. I decided not to give up. Mr. James smiled, his eyes sparkling like stars. I started over, planting new seeds. And you know what? The flowers that bloomed the next time were even more beautiful because they grew from hardship. Mr. James' story not only showed the children the effort of one person, but also conveyed the value of resilience in life. He said that sometimes suffering comes from unrealistic expectations, so we need to learn to accept life as it is. Things don't always turn out as we wish, Mr. James said, but always hold a vision, something you can strive for. That is the beacon guiding you through the rough seas of life. He often talked about friends who had passed away throughout his life. Each one left him with a valuable lesson. He had lost his closest youth, a person who had brought him the happiest moments, but he did not blame fate. Instead, he saw it as an opportunity to cherish every moment with loved ones. Every moment we live is full of meaning. Don't let the hustle and bustle of life make you forget that, he would repeat as a reminder. As the light began to fade, Mr. James stood up, looking out at the rushing river. He felt a simple joy in his heart, a joy from the lessons he had shared and from the admiring and understanding eyes of the children. Live fully for what you love. That is the reason to continue living, to embrace all joys and sorrows. When he returned home, the stories continued to echo in his mind. He knew that every lesson was valuable and every passing moment was an important part of the long journey called life. More importantly, it was the small things in life that kept the flame of hope within him burning brightly. And so, in each moment of simple living, Mr. James lived for ideals, for love, and above all, for the lessons that life had taught him. He understood that life was not just about existence, but also about how we touch those around us, how we spread love and understanding. He often reminded the children not only to live for themselves, but also to live for the community and the values they could contribute to the world around them. A drop of water cannot create an ocean, he said, but if each of you builds these drops together, we will create a vast sea of love and warmth. With each story, the old man not only introduced the children to the values of life, but also sparked in them patience and a thirst for exploring new things. Mr. James always showed that in every loss and storm, there were gifts of growth that only those who dared to confront could recognize. Life is an endless journey, and Mr. James, with his lessons and stories, had created an essential part for himself, a vibrant treasury of knowledge where he nurtured the dreams of future generations. Mr. James occasionally shared stories about his own experiences in distant travels. Each journey brought him valuable lessons, moments of exploration, and new friends. A journey is not just steps on a trail, but an expansion of the soul, he often said. He encouraged children to boldly explore the world around them, for in every small moment there are hidden wonders and endless knowledge. He recounted the first time he left the village to attend a grand fair in the city. It was not just a commercial event. It was a meeting place of many cultures where he heard stories from people he had never imagined meeting. He had been overwhelmed by their city's bustle, but also realized that within that noise, he found connections with people living differently but embracing life's lessons together. Every place I go, I not only earn new things but also find myself feeling smaller than ever, he told the children. The world is vast, and each of us is an indispensable part of that picture. Mr. James also frequently emphasized the importance of listening. No matter who we are, we need to listen to others' stories. That's how we learn and appreciate differences, he shared as the gentle breeze rustled through the branches. His words flowed softly into the children's souls, awakening in them sensitivity and receptiveness. Mr. James' life was not just about stories and lessons. He also set an example through his daily actions. He often participated in community activities, helped those in difficult situations, and shared joy and sorrow with those around him. He believed that every small act could make a significant difference in someone else's life. Life is a cycle of exchange, where we give and receive, he said in a contemplative tone. Never think that your small acts are insignificant, for those small things make up the strength of the community. Mr. James understood that time is the most precious asset people have, and he always made the most of every moment to live meaningfully. He advised the children to cherish every moment, to love and appreciate family and friends, as they are the steadfast support in every stage of life. Life is a long journey where people seek meaning and explore themselves. Mr. James, with his life lessons, was a bridge between the past and the future, between his generation and the next. He was not only a storyteller, but also a teacher, a friend, and a guide, helping the children recognize the value of every moment life offers. With his stories and lessons, Mr. James sowed the seeds of dreams and aspirations, igniting the flame of hope in the hearts of younger generations. He believed that even though life brings challenges, it is those very challenges that make us stronger and more resilient. And most importantly, Mr. James left the village with an invaluable treasure: the belief in the value of love, sharing, and the precious lessons that life brings to us.